Greetings. It's a great pleasure to be able to join you here today at this Humanistic Buddhism conference, albeit doing so digitally. Certainly a pleasure if we can meet in the future and see each other in person. Over the last decade, a considerable amount of ethical attention has been directed to the far scientific horizon of artificial intelligence and the existential threat of a technological singularity. That is, the advent of artificial agents who are capable of acting in their own self-interest, not in ours. But what should worry us just as profoundly and much more immediately is the synthesis of human and machine intelligences in alignment with current human values. Consider an analogy. The technologies of the second and third industrial revolution scaled up human intentions for over 200 years before it became apparent that the industrial use of fossil fuels would eventually bring about irreversible changes to the Earth's climate system. And humanity's failure to halt climate change over the 50 years since that has been apparent has not been due to scientific or technological shortcomings. It has been due to unresolved conflicts among globally dominant environmental, economic, social, and political values. So climate change is not a technical problem. It is an ethical predicament. The fourth industrial revolution, this intelligence revolution as I would style it, is similarly revealing a predicament, that is, a nexus of human values conflicts, that if left unresolved will have irreversible impacts on the human experience. Only this is likely to occur in a matter of just decades, not centuries. Stated in Buddhist terms, the ongoing materialization of human intentions by intelligent technology is functioning as a karmic accelerator, a recursively amplifying, wish-fulfilling system that is precipitating our arrival at an ethical singularity, an historical choke point at which the opportunity space for practicing ethics or the art of human course correction collapses, a point beyond which we will have no more chance of escaping our collective karma than light has of escaping a black hole. Now, the radical nature of the predicament of intelligent technology is perhaps most clearly revealed in the functioning of the global attention economy. Prior to the internet and 24/7 wireless connectivity, attention could only be harvested and converted into revenue through the one-way use of mass advertising to stimulate demand for mass-produced goods and services. The digital infrastructure of the attention economy 2.0 is a complexly recursive system for drafting the users of digital search, social media, and e-commerce into doing double duty. First, as consumers of individually targeted material and informational goods and services, but secondly, as producers of training data for the machine learning systems that are tirelessly and creatively accelerating and expanding revenue-generating processes of attention capture and exploitation. This is affording corporations and states with unprecedented gains in both predictive accuracy and in behavioral influence. That's something that has been obvious in a number of the different elections, particularly in the United States in 2016 and 2020, where the use of digital media to push social opinion in the direction of certain candidates or issues was used quite aggressively. Now, given these previously undreamed epistemic and ontological powers, it's not surprising that something like a new great game is underway, a global competition, not for land and labor, as was the case in the late 19th and early 20th century great game that was played among colonial imperial powers, but a new great game, a competition for time and attention. Competition that can, without hyperbole, be characterized as a competition for global advantage and the colonization of consciousness itself, the transmutation of human sentience and agency from the inside out. Now, a central appeal of the transformations that are being mediated by intelligent technology is the almost frictionless freedom of choice that is afforded by it. That is the ability to get what we want nearly instantaneously, whether we're talking about digital and physical goods, social connection, or a rapidly expanding range of smart services, all in exchange for nothing more than our digital exhaust. And on the face of it, this might seem to be a technological dream come true. But seen through Buddhist lenses, it's a dream from which we would do well to awaken. One of the founding insights of Buddhist thought and practice is that sentient presence is a qualitative or relational function of karma. That is, it's a function of a nonlinear causality that obtains among sustained patterns of values, intentions, and actions, and consonant patterns of experienced outcomes and opportunities. All technologies are karmically significant. That is to say, they affect the qualities of interdependence that obtain in the world, both among humans and in humans with the greater world around us. Unlike tools, which are localizable artifacts that are designed to extend human capacities and that are aptly evaluated in terms of their task-specific utilities, technologies are relational systems. That is, we should not misidentify technologies, say communication technology, with the smartphone. The smartphone is a tool that you can either choose to use or not to use. With respect to tools, we have exit rights, which with respect to the relational systems that constitute technologies, we do not have such exit rights. Technologies are non-localizable systems of material and conceptual practices that embody and deploy both strategic and normative values, qualitatively transforming our relationships with the world and with one another. So strictly speaking, we neither build nor use technologies. We participate in them. They're much more like environments that we participate in than they are like tools that we make use of or don't make use of. Technologies, therefore, can only be evaluated ethically in terms of how they affect both human-human and human-world relations. What makes intelligent technology different and unlike all previous technologies is that it is an active partner in the human-technology world relationship, a partner that is innovatively directed toward making ever more effective uses of the desires, values, and intentions that are encoded in our digitally manifest patterns of attention to recursively command further attention. In effect, algorithmic systems are actively and innovatively reinforcing the readiness of desire-defined individuals to exercise ever broader powers of choice in exchange for granting corporate political actors ever more precise powers of control. This amounts to the synthetic scaling up of a logic of domination that is not based on overt acts of coercion, but rather on ambiently reinforced covert reinforcements of craving. The creation of environments in which choice becomes at once compulsive and compulsory. Now, as this feedback feed-forward cycle intensifies, our individually tailored experiential options will become extensive, and much more acutely desirable, but at the cost of our most basic sentient right, that is, the right to freedom of attention. A freedom without which we're incapable of making any meaningful differences, either in our own lives or in the lives of others. Because without freedom of attention, there can be no freedom of intention. Without freedom of intention, the ethical dimension of the human mind and intelligence collapses. Creative course correction becomes impossible. And this we know from the Buddhist tradition in the emphasis on meditative training as basic realizing attentive poise, being able to be consistently enough present in a concentrated and yet fluid manner to be able to respond to the changes in our environments, to be able to evaluate the kinds of values and intentions that we bring forth as we enact them in the world around us, and thereby to be able to change our karma, to change from being the karma of somebody who's committed to a life of subjective indulgence, for example, and desire, to someone who's, say, able to make the bodhisattva commitment of acting on behalf of other sentient beings. That requires freedom of attention and freedom of intention. Now, most AI ethics standards and guidelines address what we can refer to as accidents of design and misuse by design. And that work is very necessary and it's important, but these are tool risks. Technological risks are structural and relational. They're a nonlinear function of the ways in which decision-making environments, societal dynamics, and qualities of agency and sentient presence are affected as a technology ever more pervasively scales up karmic feedback and feed-forward loops of ever more readily enacted rather than critically evaluated values and intentions. Now, every ethical system has critical blind spots. And to resolve the predicament that's at the heart of intelligence revolution, that is to realize its promises while avoiding its perils, no single ethical system will suffice. Navigating beyond the ethical singularity ahead is going to require ethical improvisation and shared pursuit of ethical diversity, where diversity is understood as a qualitative relational achievement of engaging differences as the basis of mutual contribution to sustainably shared flourishing. To resolve the predicament of intelligent technology, we do not need a new species of ethics. We need a resiliently intercultural ethical ecosystem, an approach to ethics in which the basic unit of analysis is not individual agents, actions, or patients, but rather qualities of sentient presence and interdependence. Intelligent technology is holding up a mirror to humanity. And to change the evolutionary arc of the intelligence revolution, it's not going to be enough to continue being human in the ways that we have been. Being human in ways that have proven our incapacity for generating, for example, the resolve that's needed to end hunger and armed conflict, or to halt climate disruption. It's going to require embodying shared clarity about and commitment to becoming ever more virtuosically humane. Framed in Buddhist terms, the hope is that intelligent technology will then reflect and recursively amplify the values and intentions that are involved in perfecting the 6 paramitas, our capacities for and commitments to being present with the generosity, the moral clarity, the patience, the valiant energy, the attentive mastery, and the wisdom that's needed in any given situation to be able to realize superlative or virtuosic, that is crucial relational dynamics, to diminish those at the same time that are without virtuosity. Now, crucially, just as virtuosic musical performances establish new standards of musicianship, crucial conduct sets ever new standards of responsive ethical excellence. That from a Buddhist perspective, ethics is not a process of engaging in the effort to simply become virtuous human beings as individuals. It's rather the ongoing, always improvised, always expanding effort to become more and more virtuosically present, to be able to be present in those ways that are needed according to the Bodhisattva ideal, to be able to engage our circumstances in the ways that are required to shift the relational dynamics therein from more constrained, compulsory forms of presence to more liberating forms of presence. That is to say, it means establishing a course heading beyond what's bad and mediocre, to be sure, but also a heading beyond what is conventionally regarded as good. Ethics is an open-ended, exploratory endeavor. If the intelligence revolution is to be both equitable and humane, we're going to have to resist the siren calls of the digital servants, soldiers, savants, and seers that are all around us. We're going to have to resolutely retool the karmic engines of the fourth industrial revolution and realize a human technology world relationship, a system that is based on supporting rather than supplanting intelligent human practices, on fostering concentration rather than distraction, on promoting commitment rather than convenience, and on realizing environments that are conducive to the effortful cultivation of appreciative and contributory virtuosity, rather than the effortless exercise of ambiently induced choice. Ultimately, nothing less than this is going to enable us to secure our rights to more globally equitable and humane futures. Thank you very much, and I will look forward to and enjoy our conversations.